Hi, hello. It is time for lecture 15. Or if your screen is flipped, lecture 15. Yes, we are taking heat, transport, and temperature to the next level and wrapping up that area of the physics that we can talk about. There is so much to talk about with thermodynamics and stuff, and I would love to give you much, much more, but there's not going to be much left. But this stuff is really important. Think about it. What is one of the four vital signs that you come into a doctor's office and every medical professional will want to know these four things right away, right? What is your pulse? What is your blood pressure? What is your breathing rate or respiration? And what is your temperature, right? So temperature and understanding how the heat in your body works and so forth and how it moves around is absolutely essential for basically all kinds of biological systems. All right. And the human body is no exception. So let's do this and figure out how energy moves via heat from place to place. Remember, if you have a temperature differential, if the jiggly wiggly parts of the pieces of this part of the your physical system is jiggling faster than this part. I don't know if I can do that. This part is faster, this part is slower. And when they touch, they will equilibrate. Okay, they will all wind up with the same. The goal is to move energy around that way. And it can go fast or it can go slow. Or that change can happen rapidly or slowly. And depending on what we want, right, it can be in different things. We really need to understand how that works in order for all kinds of understanding of bodily systems, physical systems, even stars, right? How they all work. So it's very, very important. And let's get right to it. Fortunately, the textbook is good about this. So I want you to read the textbook for these sections, this part about heat transfer. Okay. Now I use the term heat transport because that's my physics training. When I think about things going from place to place, transport is what I say, but heat transfer is a perfectly way to describe it too. So that heat transfer or heat transport, right, are the cool things, but each one of these ways is extremely interesting in its own right. Conduction, convection, and radiation, right? This is something that you've heard of before many times. These three words, conduction, convection, and radiation. What do they do? What does it mean, right? Essentially something like this. Conduction is when you're touching something, right? If you are touching something that's a different temperature from you, you equilibrate because all the vibration jiggly stuff just moves from one part to the other, just goes right there, right? But it can go slowly or it can go quickly because of the touching. And different materials will transfer that heat via conduction more quickly or more slowly or more effectively or less effectively. And then the difference in temperature also makes a difference on how much energy gets transferred, how quickly, right? Think about it. If I'm touching a room temperature metal pot containing room temperature water and I touch it with my finger, it's not going to be a lot of energy transfer. It's going to be relatively slow. But if that pot is hot with boiling water in it and I touch it, boy, does that energy reach my hand fast, right? So the temperature differential is really important for conduction. What about convection, right? In this case, it's mentioned as hot air convection or cold air coming in this way. But basically, if you have a fluid, all right, if you have a fluid, whether it's a compressible fluid like hot air or gas of some kind, or an incompressible fluid like, say, water, right, or blood or something like that, if you move that fluid from one place to another, and that heat, right, that fluid contains goes from an area of higher temperature to an area of lower temperature, for example, then what happens is that the heat that was down here in the fluid goes up over here where the heat will then dissipate. Then what happens? Well, the fluid no longer is hot anymore, so it comes back down or comes back over to the hot part and then gets hot again, comes back and releases it and down and back and down. So you create a cycle. You're basically taking fluid, adding heat to the fluid, then moving the heat and the fluid together to a different location so that all the different particles of the fluid can conduct its heat into the particles that it touches over here. Then the fluid returns and picks up more heat. So it gains more jiggly wiggly wiggly and then goes up there and then does it again and then back and forth. So convection goes in cycles. It goes in currents. Okay, it goes in loops back and forth and back and forth. And so the container, the equipment, the material, the liquid, the fluid, the gas is continually moving in cycles. Okay, so you have convection loops and convection currents and things like that, right? It can happen naturally. Like, for example, if you have a stove and it's hot at the bottom, then water will naturally go up, get warm, and then come up here, get cooler, and then drop back down because of gravity, get warmer and cooler and warmer and cooler. So you have natural convection cycles, or you can force the convection, right? You can make it happen by pushing the fluid. We'll talk about pressure not too long from now. Maybe not in this lecture, but certainly in an upcoming and soon lecture. Okay, so be ready for that. Anyway, the fluid moving up and down, you can force it or you can let it go naturally based on differentials of temperature, or you can use force and create extra pressure to move that liquid around. Very, very important, this concept of convection. Okay, and then the